French for Life is a promotional campaign created in partnership with the Manitoba Association of French Immersion Principals, AMDI, Manitoba Association of Teachers of French, MATF, and Canadian Parents for French Manitoba, CPFMB. The French language is widely used throughout the world. Understanding the power of French begins by understanding just how important it is, globally and locally. It may surprise you to know that French is spoken by more than 200 million people in 50 countries, from France to Egypt to French Guiana in South America. Imagining 200 million French-speaking people is one thing, but knowing that the Olympics, the European Union, and the United Nations all use French helps us to realize that French is a truly global language. Spoken on every continent. There are French-speaking countries in North and South America, Europe, North Africa, even Asia. Vietnam has a strong French-speaking population. In Canada, an officially bilingual country, roughly 30% of our population speaks French. That's almost 9 million French-speaking Canadians. Manitoba has a strong and vibrant French-speaking population. More than 100,000 people speak the language here, which represents nearly 10% of our population. There is a wealth of research available on the subject of bilingualism and French second language acquisition. Research shows that learning another language enriches our vocabulary and our identities, as well as changing the way we learn, the way we interact, and the way we age. Here is a brief overview of some of the most pertinent research information. Problem-solving skills are something that we all use every day in all aspects of our lives. Bilingual individuals have been proven to have heightened problem-solving abilities. Research suggests that this is because of the way bilingual people learn. When communication occurs between people who speak the same language, it's possible to interact using only words. When someone is learning another language, they need to communicate not only verbally, but with gestures, facial expressions, and intonation. Simply put, bilingual people must observe more closely and find different ways of communicating. They find creative solutions to the problem of miscommunication. Creativity falls directly in line with the problem-solving skills bilingual people develop. Learning another language demands a certain amount of flexibility of the mind. How does this happen? Bilingual people form more connections between words and ideas. For example, if you are shown a picture of a cat, your mind might connect that image to the words cat and kitten. When you are bilingual, that same picture may also conjure up the words chat and chaton. You're able to access more words for each idea. For example, in a recent study, subjects were asked, how many uses can you think of for a brick? Bilingual subjects were able to imagine more uses than the unilinguals. This is called divergent thinking, and it demonstrates that from the same starting point, bilingual people have a tendency to explore ideas more creatively. Communicative sensitivity is the ability to interpret verbal and nonverbal cues and to assess your listener's needs. In a study of children aged 5 to 8, one child was blindfolded and the other was asked to describe a board game to the temporarily sightless child. Bilingual children were more likely to describe the game pieces in the board before explaining the game itself. This means that they were aware of the temporary handicap of the blindfolded student and adapted their communication to compensate for it. Unilingual children gave far less information. This study demonstrates that bilingual children decide which language to use in different situations and environments based on their awareness of who is around them and where they are. Bilingualism really does change us physiologically. Brain scans of all types have been administered on bilingual people, both while completing tasks and while inactive. The gray matter in our brains is where all thought occurs. Brain scans show that in bilingual individuals, gray matter is thicker and denser, particularly in the area of the brain that deals with language. Therefore, there are more connections in the brain and consequently a greater number of word associations. Many parents wonder if children in French immersion programs are at a disadvantage when it comes to English language skills and mathematics. Statistics from Manitoba's Education Department and Statistics Canada show that this is not the case. More often than not, bilingual children achieve at higher levels than their unilingual peers. All the research previously discussed in this presentation demonstrates that bilingualism affects the physical brain, one's communication skills, problem solving, and creativity, all for the better. One more thing to consider is that English and French have approximately 20,000 words in common, a fact that enhances both English and French vocabulary. Learning another language actually slows down the aging process of the brain. In a recent Canadian study, middle-aged and older adults were put through a series of tests to determine how quickly they could react to tasks while being distracted. Subjects were asked to touch a certain button when they saw a specific color on a screen. In both age groups, the bilingual subjects performed faster and with fewer errors. The test results demonstrated that as unilinguals slowed down due to conceived normal aging cognitive changes, the bilingual people were less likely to do so. French for Life has created a DVD and CD-ROM that contain many resources available to teachers and administrators. There is a parent presentation for families interested in French second language programs. It highlights French in the world, the advantages of bilingualism, and common questions. Also, there are 2 student presentations, one in English and one in French. These presentations demonstrate the importance of French and the advantages of bilingualism. These were created with students in mind. There are videos and an activity. They are presented in a format appropriate for grades 4 to 12. French for Life has developed brochures for parents, teachers, and administrators, as well as a comprehensive parent and teacher booklet. All these materials are available on CD-ROM for you to print and distribute. For up-to-date French second language information for parents, students, teachers, and administrators, please visit the French for Life website, www.frenchforlife.ca.